These men with these passports, OMG.
Paddling alone.
A lot of these women, they are literally marrying for money.
Why then you don't want a green card?
And even if you do find some poor woman that needs a green card, wants to move to the U.S. or, needs money, that's still not love. So.
As a Gen Xer, we can argue that we were kids during the greatest time in American history. We had the greatest television. We had shows like the A-Team. Wait, hold on. No, this A-Team. You see the guy on the right, that's Mr. T. And he had a television show, he had a cartoon show, he was on Different Strokes. And he said in pretty much every TV appearance he had, I pity the fool. And that was his catchline. And so we grew up in an era where we had fast cars and explosions on television, had Knight Rider. And one of the things about the television is that it had two switches. And it was a relic of how we increased the number of channels we could watch by using the bottom switch and turning the top switch to the U position.
Right here on Wheel of
This is a reminder of an era where everyone wanted to come to America. And in a way, I think we're kind of still stuck in the 1980s or even the early 1990s when there was Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson and America was the coolest place on the planet. And everyone wanted to come to America and we knew it. Well, that's one of the reasons why when we see TikToks like this one, it's so difficult for us to understand.
Mr. XYZ have a question. Why so many Filipinas date and marry American more than any other country? And his answer is because of the green card. No. In the first place, American men ask Filipino women to be their wives.
So she's going to talk about a couple of things about why people choose Filipinas as wives. But what's most important in this TikTok, I think, is this kind of notion that everyone wants a green card. And I would say there was a time when that was the case, but I think she's going to kind of dispel some of those myths. Let's keep listening.
Correct. Number 2, Filipino women do not ask American men to be their husband. Right? And to answer your question, why so many Filipino prefer American men than any other country, it's their own preference. Everyone have their own preference. You might have your own preference that you don't want to date a Filipina because you look so ugly in your eyes, or you might want to date a Chinese, or I might want to date an African, or I might want to date an Aussie or American. Simple. It's not about the green card. You're just being a jerk.
What she's really saying is that this idea that there are a lot of Filipinos that are itching to get their hands on someone so they can get a green card and go to the United States. I think that there's some numbers that are going to prove that that's not necessarily the case as much as we think it is.
Spatula City.
So this is data from the Homeland Security website, and it's the number of people who obtained visas lawfully from the years 2016 to 2018 by region. And so you can see the numbers here. It's talking about Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, Oceania. Okay. So you can see which areas are really decreasing and increasing. And to make it a little easier to see, this is showing it by region in terms of the graphs. And you can see Africa is almost flat. You can see that Asia is declining in the 3-year period. Europe is declining in the 3-year period. North America is pretty much stable leading into the Trump era. But even then, you're seeing where a lot of the immigration is actually coming from. So you see that, Asia certainly is declining. And then even for Europe, as small as it is, it's also declining. So what it speaks to is the fact that it's not as many people as you might think, at least when you look at Asia, that are trying to come to America as much as you might think it is.
We don't need no stinking badgers!
Now we're going to take a look at the number of persons obtaining legal resident status in the United States in 2021 by country. And so you can see the greatest numbers coming from Mexico, then India, then China. And of course, passport bros aren't really frequenting those countries. Then you have maybe Philippines was probably the first one on the radar, and you have Dominican Republic. But you would imagine that a good number of the visas coming from India and China are probably tech visas, and then you get to the Philippines, which was probably a large number of teachers and nurses. So again, a lot of those people coming would be degreed and probably proficient in English. And then you see a good number of Northern and Southern American countries, Cuba, El Salvador, Brazil, right? And so if you continue down the list from Jamaica, you have Nigeria, South Korea. And so you see the countries that are kind of being represented, and they're not really a large number of countries that passport bros are frequenting.
And this time, he's mad. Gandhi 2.
On the other hand, what we're starting to see more is not necessarily, you saw the Philippines were on the list, well, you're actually kind of seeing the opposite. And this is going to explain why.
As a place where men are doing this and they're going there and they're finding success? Or is it just that there's a lot of women there that are looking to marry? Like, what is it about the Philippines?
Well, it's a lot of factors. So the first factor, which is huge, is the fact that every Filipino woman speaks English.
Okay, so you don't have the language barrier.
Exactly. The second one is the fact that there are a lot of American and Western men that are already living there that have found Filipino wives.
Now, mind you what he said, there are a lot of men that are already living in the Philippines. Men are moving to the Philippines, not the other way around.
And because it's a developing country, the cost of living there is extremely inexpensive.
And so that kind of points against the narrative that you hear about the green card narrative. In fact, you're seeing people that are doing the opposite of that, or more so, you're seeing more people who just don't really want to live in the States as their first choice. One thing we have to remember is this is 2023. It is not 1986.
You get to drink from the fire hose!
We can't pretend that there aren't any women who are trying to get an American to marry them for a green card. But what I would suggest to you is that there's a growing number of people who would like to stay in their own country because America has the issues that it has, which I choose not to label here. On the contrary, when men are having Valentine's Days like this,
Passport brothers, get your passport.
Oh, I'm so tired. Yes. You know what? All right, bet. We're done. We're done. I swear. You're so ungrateful. You're so ungrateful. I'm taking all this stuff back.
Just do better. Just do
No,
better.
no, I'm taking all this stuff back.
I need to be treated like a queen.
I'll go get us to another female. I'll take all this stuff back. Just leave it.
this is making guys relocate.
Just leave it. Just leave it. Move. Move.
Just do better.
I'll eat my...
Babe, it's constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism? You're ungrateful.
Just do better.
Yeah, you're ungrateful. You're an ungrateful little That's what you are. I'm getting tired of this. You're never happy.
What kind of Valentine's Day?
Bro, you're never
gift
happy.
is this?
You're never happy.
Just
You're
be
never
honest.
happy.
You would like it if you were a girl and you got...
Yeah. So in a global world where people are moving around more, you're starting to see different migration patterns as, you know, guys have Valentine's Day to end up like this.
Yes, I would be happy because there's people out here that ain't getting this. They're not getting that. I just spent too much money.
Better.
You know what? I just spent way too much money.
I should get the rose, like the big old thing. You give me like 5 roses, and there's like no money in there. There's no money in anything. You didn't give me any money.
All right,
What kind
Yasmin.
of Valentine's Day?
You know what, Yasmin?
We are no longer in the age of UHF television. Mike Tyson is no longer the heavyweight champion of the world, and everyone around the world is no longer clamoring to come to America like they were in the 1980s. Things have changed. Now there are people that are looking to go to other countries. And so that means that everyone that meets you as an American is not trying to get over on you to get a green card to come to America. Some people, sure. But everyone, that's simply myopic. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.